Coming to you at a reasonable hour on a Tuesday evening here, coming off the waves of probably one of the craziest finishes we've seen in years of fantasy football with that game last night. And on the good end of that, I'm joined by Ed here. So welcome in. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Cannot complain. How you feeling after that game last night?
I feel a little bit lucky. Um, that's all I can say. It was just luck.
Well, it's
It
better
was
to be
a lot
lucky
of,
than good, right?
yeah, very true.
But no, man, that was quite a feat, and anyone who didn't catch it, it was Josh Allen goes down and scores that touchdown. You're like I think you were losing at that point. Then you needed what 30 yards from the Broncos, got it, and then they got a sack. You were losing again. Then they have the missed kick. You would have lost. Bills can't count to 11, and I should say can't count to less than 11, and yeah, I mean, redemption comes true and hold it out, and that might be a deciding factor for playoff seeding moving here forward. So,
Yeah.
that's
I think it was Damar Hamlin that was on the field too.
oh man, and that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad he's on the field, but man, that's I'm sure there's some Bills fans who are quite unhappy that he was obviously, but
Yeah.
blessing and a curse, I suppose. But anyway, moving forward here, just going to jump right into it. We've already done an interview section with Ed, so he doesn't need any more questions from you idiots out there. But we appreciate the fans. Keep sending them in, so we will get them on the pod when it is time. But moving on to my matchup here against Nick. This is what I've been waiting for, man. This is my team's finally moving. I've 1-5 start, 1-3 in my last four. Keaton Mitchell was able to pick him up since I've been sitting low or early in the waivers. Came true, had a good game, only on 3 touches with 13 fantasy points, or we'll take that all day, obviously. But no, just
Yep.
model of consistency. Our trade worked out with Kittle for me, had a huge game.
Yeah.
Just pretty consistent up and down the board. Herbert looked great. So I mean, all sunshine and rainbows and rainbow farts over here because it's just great. And then Pete Bucher, another really solid performance. This one kind of looked like it was going to be a blowout in favor of me, but his guys put up a nice showing there. I think it was Sunday night with Kenneth Walker, or yeah, that was the late afternoon game with Walker putting up a late
Yeah.
touchdown, and Dak Prescott obviously going all for 43 points. But another really strong day for Nick to 120. You're going to win a lot of games putting up that kind of points. Obviously, with a 6-4 record, third place in the league, has done that. But yeah, it feels really good to get this win. Was not expecting it, but much needed.
No, it was just rough because you have Henry and Pollard and Moore and Pickens and Andrews who just kind of disappointed. It was just Dak show this week. So
Yeah.
yeah, just needed a little bit extra from those players and they just didn't show up. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And all
mean,
of your players really did. So
yeah, it was, Aaron Jones a little bit down, but other than that, really, really can't complain. But yeah, to wrap about Pollard, man, it's all year this guy's been. I know you and I were texting earlier about him because I have him in another league, but I mean, dude's just been a model of disappointment all year since week one. I think he's gotten over 10 points once in the last 6 weeks, and he's getting 20, 25 touches a game. Like that's I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, I mean, this team's still really talented. I still like them a lot, and he's got Dowdle on the bench. So, do we ever consider benching Pollard for Dowdle? Because Dallas looks like they're kind of moving that direction, but we'll see. But yeah, Henry's been I don't know what he's been either exploding or just dead, but still a good team.
yeah.
But really really exciting to get this win and get myself right in the midst of the playoff picture. So moving on
Yeah,
here. Yeah,
moving on.
week by week, making the climb.
Yeah.
But team that is dominating the league in first place, most points for, with a 7-3 record, continues to show us why. Puts up 147. I believe he put up 177 a couple weeks ago. The Taysom Hill play doesn't work, but doesn't really matter. CD Lamb is unconscious. Eckler and Kamara is going to be a very formidable backfield. And Montgomery back. Pretty cool to see Gibbs and Montgomery both get the love this week. But yeah,
Yeah, I
awesome
think
team.
Montgomery's points mostly came off that massive run he had.
Yeah,
But
75-yard touchdown run's going to help, but for sure. But yeah, Thielen's kind of coming back down to earth a little bit, so we'll see with that. But this team's really solid. And Team Nate, interesting spot. Benched Bijan doesn't make a difference really because Jonathan Taylor and Foreman both had really solid days, and Lockett in the flex was a good play. So, DeAndre Hopkins giveth and taketh. You bench him, puts up huge points. You play him, he sucks. Stephon Diggs doesn't get the ball anymore. I don't know what's going on there. But on a positive note, A-Chain's coming back. Kyron Williams coming back soon. Plethora of running backs. Could this team be a team that makes a deal by noon tomorrow to get some wide receiver help? Possibly. I don't know. But yeah, just huge win for Rock Boys here. More, like I said, more questions than answers for Team Nate.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at it on paper, it's a great team, but they just not there consistent wise.
Yeah, which is crazy because you think guys like Diggs are gonna, really put it up. But I mean,
I
I
still think Diggs is the number 3 wide receiver on the year, which is
he
doesn't feel right, but
yeah, only 5 targets, 3 catches for 34. That's yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, he's been pretty consistent. 7's been his lowest targets. A lot of weird shit with Buffalo this year in general, but yeah, I still like Nate's roster. I like a lot of. I say this pretty much every week. I feel like, but everyone has a really strong roster. I honestly feel that way.
Yeah, it's all pretty like deadlocked. Honestly, it's not much for it out from the bottom.
Not at all. But no, I mean, Team Nate can still come out next week and drop 130 on somebody very easily. But maybe not for your sake this upcoming week, but at some point. Game of the week. I'll let you start.
Oh boy. I mean, my team still did really well. I wasn't disappointed. Lamar Jackson's always my disappointment. It's every single week. I feel like this is the week he's gonna go off for that 50-point game, but he never seems to do it. It's very close to Brock Purdy at this point. But yeah, I mean, I'm shocked to get a win without 2 of my better players with Brown and Smith, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see Gibbs and Hall finally showing up later in the season like I thought they would. And going forward, I'm like very confident in this team, but we'll see. And then Zach's team did great too. I mean, didn't expect that Devin Singletary points really.
Well, you got what you got there, what you didn't get from Deontay Johnson, so it kind of balances itself out there a little bit, I think. But still, yeah, with Pierce out, Singletary had a huge day, and that Houston team is very fun to watch.
Yeah, they are. Stroud's an absolute monster.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Zach's team is still very solid. So this was a toss up from the beginning. I just got very lucky.
And it's kind of interesting that you're lacking your 2 receivers and he's lacking Tyreek Hill, kind of evens that matchup out a little bit more, that you're both kind of relying on the not superstars of the team. But yeah, who would have thought CJ Stroud would be the talk of town in fantasy world, not let alone just rookie of the year. He's in the MVP race. He's going to win people some fantasy championships, man. He's been a fantastic player all year. This game was really fun. Good.
Yeah, I mean, just Stroud, it's unbelievable really what he's doing. I mean, he has 2 interceptions on the year for a rookie, which is just
nuts.
Unheard of.
Yeah.
He does it all.
Well, the most impressive part for me with that Bengals game, one, you're going to Cincy and winning. That's tough in general to do these days. But there's a terrible that interception he threw was really bad. He comes back out and leads a game-winning drive right after that. So that just kind of goes to show you that he's unwavered. And it's hard to find a rookie that plays at that level, especially these Ohio State guys have not really been the guys to do it. But he's breaking the mold, and he's a great player, man. Good for Houston. But it's both these rosters are fantastic. A little disappointing for Breece Hall, but if 9's the floor, that you'll take that. And Laporta with a down week, but Rachaad White, since I traded him to you, has been an absolute superstar. So
I needed the running back help so badly. I had no backup there.
Yeah, I mean, if Gibbs or Hall isn't doing it, that's turns into a really nice option for you. So But yeah, I mean, Zach's team here, if these guys can put up something similar to this moving forward with Tyreek in the lineup, I mean, it's going to be hard to beat, man. And I think any team that makes the playoffs this year has a legitimate chance to win. It's really that kind of year. But no, really, really fun game to watch here, like we kind of talked about. Both of you guys getting to 6-4, really cool to see it. 1 through 6 are only a game apart, so
Yeah,
it's good.
I really only think it's like probably the bottom two playoff spots are up for grabs.
I think at this point, yeah, because it's Witzinski and Tyler are 5-5, and then everyone else is 6-4 or better. And
Yeah.
then it's I think the top 6 are kind of solidified. Just
Those
depends on
teams are
the
most
order.
likely going to go like 500. So
They're just going to beat up on each other a lot. So
yeah,
we might not have a double-digit winner this year in the regular season, which is kind of odd, different, but
uh,
yeah, seems that way. Yeah, moving on here to Risky versus Ryan. Um, you know, this was a lower projection just because of all the guys on bye. Jared Goff, solid spot start there for Mike, and Michael Mayer finds the end zone first time all year. A little bit of luck, fantasy gods looking down on you there. Pretty solid. Barkley disappointment. I mean, you're kind of going to get that. I think Tyrod's coming back this week, so that should help because it actually have a competent quarterback play.
yeah,
We'll keep them in games and allow them to run more. Christian Watson having to get a spot start here, dude. That guy's been another huge disappointment this year. So coming back, we'll see how Mostert is with Chain. See how they're going to mix this because Jeff Wilson's healthy too. So
yeah.
what are we doing there? Goddard, I believe, is injured still. So good team. Are they as good as they were 3 weeks ago? Remains to be seen. Team moving the way wrong direction here with Ryan. Unfortunately, Trevor Lawrence was putting up really solid days, and San Francisco was giving up a lot through the air, but all of a sudden they figured themselves out again. Good to get James Conner back for him though, and obviously Calvin Ridley's been another huge disappointment. That kind of rides right alongside with Lawrence. Sucks when you don't have Swift and Kelsey, who have been your two best players all year, and good to see signs of life from Devontae. So there's still a lot of hope here, and Kincaid's been a fantastic pickup for the flex option. So I think moving forward, this team's going to be able to put up those 100 to 120 points. Just really going to be what that quarterback's going to do because Lawrence has not been consistent at all.
Yeah, I get it. I have him in another league. It's painful. So
Yeah, and I will shout out Ryan here, Demario Douglas, fantastic pickup. He's going to be a wide receiver 1 in New England, which isn't saying much, but targets are targets, and not a bad spot start. So
that's all you want.
Yeah, so Ryan still has 3-7 here. I think he's the only 3-7 team. So got his work cut out for him here. Still can definitely do it. I'm not sure what his remaining schedule looks like, but
I think I play him twice. So
well, that's that's not great.
it's all it can always happen. So
I was 1-5 and all hope was lost, and here we go. So
yeah,
Team Coleman versus Wuhan here. I'll let you kind of start this one and give me your thoughts.
yeah. I think it was a rough week for Tyler here. Heineke just did not get it done. ETN had that one. He had a really off week this week, and he's been a stud this year. Madison going out didn't help at all. I mean, other than that, his team did pretty well. It's just really unfortunate that ETN and Heineke and Madison all had those rough days.
Yeah, and Heineke got hurt in I think the third or early fourth. So that doesn't help. And then Madison's brain damage. So that San Fran defense looks like they're back to doing what they do. So, but yeah. And you'd like to see more out of Drake London, but it kind of is what it is. Sucks to have Noah Brown on the bench there.
Yeah, I mean, not having to, or I let go of Rice, but yeah, he's been pretty solid. And I also let go of Njigba, so.
Yeah, and Jigba's definitely blossomed into a real player here. And Rashee Rice has been a fantastic pickup for him. I'm sure you wish you had him still because he's been the one guy in Kansas City who has been getting the ball consistently.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think I dropped him for Dell, so
that works. Yeah.
I'm not too worried about the wide receivers. I think I was scrambling for running backs.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, Matt Wazinski's team it's just been TJ Hawkinson all over again. He seems to put up these crazy ass numbers.
I didn't want the new Travis Kelce.
Yeah, honestly, Christian McCaffrey is always going to be a stud. Yeah, just overall solid week.
Yeah, it's interesting that you get a win here with not pulling T. Higgins out of the starting lineup in the flex and only getting 4.5 from the quarterback and putting up 111 feels pretty good. Pittman's been great. Devo back to form. Sweet to put up 17 with McCaffrey with no touchdowns.
Yeah, I
As a
didn't even
streak.
see the 21 points by the
Yeah, I
kicker.
was going to say that Jason Myers had quite an afternoon out in Seattle. But yeah, this team it's been trending the wrong direction, but gets a nice win here. See if the pass or not, Dobbs is going to keep this hook up with Hawkinson going. See what we get out of the quarterback play moving forward. If we stick with Levis, or we find somebody else.
Team's got no depth though at all.
No, they're a couple fragile. And Michael Thomas, I think, died this weekend on the field too with some brain damage. So
yeah,
and Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard situation. You can't feel great about that. So I think this is the scoring. This team's going to have to get carried by Hawkinson and Debo and McCaffrey. If those three can combine for what they did this week, they'll be in a lot of games. But if you get a down week from one of them, I think you're looking at a lot of losses. Sadly,
I mean, yeah, if you can put up 111 each week, you're gonna
win more than you're gonna lose for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coming off his first win of the year with a whopping 73 points. George decides to put up 116 this week, and back to reality, he loses. Justin Jefferson's coming back. This team's going to beat some more teams this year. Burrow's playing at a high level. Najee and Javante are both playing at a very high level. Amon-Ra is Amon-Ra. JJ. I mean, all of a sudden, this team could win out, honestly. Very, very scary lineup to face moving forward, I think. And What'd you say?
I just was saying I was glad I've already played him. So
yeah, I get him again. Unfortunately, I'm not looking forward to it because he's tough out now.
Especially with J Jet coming back. Yeah, that's gonna be wild.
Yeah, it just sucks that Najee and Javante looked like absolute dog shit for the first 6 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting Curtis Samuel out of starting lineup will probably feel pretty good for him. Then moving to Purcell, down Jalen Hurts, down Cooper Kupp, down Puka Nacua. Keenan Allen back to putting up 40 points a game. Solid output from running backs. Brian Robinson Jr. has a monstrous day. Massive opening touchdown. Niners defense back to moving and grooving. So, and Russell Wilson, Ryan's former love, gets it done here. So, 150 is always great. Can't complain. This is the swingy team of the league. We can get the 150. We've seen the 80. Where do we fall on any given week? He's going to make the playoffs. What's the run look like? That's my question.
Yeah, I'm right there too. I mean, it's been 1 week I score in the 90s, and the next week I'm at 160. So I get the feeling.
Yeah, and Stafford's coming back for the Rams this upcoming week, so that's going to be good for both the receivers, obviously. Jalen Hurts is playing at a very high level of football, and we'll just see what these running backs kind of look like moving forward. I think they're going to be very week to week as far as their production goes, more so Cook than Mixon, I think. Zach Moss, I think, is probably done for. It kind of looks like Algier is playable, but you're going to really be relying on, unless you find a flex option here, which I think you probably can with those two Rams receivers, but then you're doing Robinson and Mixon. I think you're good with that. So this is a good roster again, like everyone else. But yeah, I like
we always say, this whole league is pretty much open.
To make
it. So.
Yeah, it's sad that George. I mean, honestly, if George was in the playoffs, I necessarily wouldn't want to play him.
No. Not at all. The team, this is a scary roster right now. So
yeah, I mean Jefferson and Amon-Ra. If you're getting this kind of production out of the running backs, this team's going to be, like I said, good win out. But yeah, good win for Purcell though. Gets to 6-4. Got to feel good about that. So that being said, let's slide on to the predictions for next week. So I didn't write them down, but that's okay. I think I read them out last time where the standings were. I think the guest picker's 2 up, so pressure's on for you to keep it going.
Oh, geez, I didn't know you were keeping score.
So obviously I need a kicker. He needs to replace Pittman. So this game will probably end up being in my favor to some degree.
Yeah.
Like a little bit, but yeah, I like we'll see what I do with some of these decisions. So I might swap Darrell Henderson, and I'm not sure yet. I don't love the matchups I have across the board. Really, a lot of these are kind of tough. I love the Chargers defensive line, so I don't know how well Aaron Jones does. Green Bay's defense is horrid on the ground, so Herbert should be able to play
Yeah,
action a
they're
lot.
just gonna go straight to the pass. I feel like by the end of that first quarter.
Yeah, I'll see about Mitchell. I think he's going to get the ball more than 3 times this game. So
Yeah,
I'm cool to rock and see if I get a 30-point burger out of him. And no Olave this week, no Downs this week. So we're going with Kirk and Sutton again, it looks like. So, and then looking at Wazinski, that Denver defense seems rejuvenated. So we'll see how they do against the Vikings. Tampa's got a pretty good defensive front too. So we'll see how they handle McCaffrey. I think my huge advantage, obviously, here is in the quarterback room. If Herbert can put up what he did last week, I think I win this by a large margin. If I don't, I think this is a coin flip kind of game in all reality. So I'm going to give myself the edge just because I'm kind of rocking and rolling right now. But
no,
I think it's going to be a pretty close one.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be Herbert, or it's going to be close. So I think other than that, I really hate Hubbard, both and Sanders right now. So
good luck with Bryce Young against that front with Dallas. So
yeah, we'll see if he actually replaces Higgins this week. So who knows? But I lean you. Yeah.
Yeah, if Higgins gets swapped out for someone, obviously this is a coin flip game. But yeah, so I lean me just because I have the momentum, riding the Takate vibes. So
yeah,
we got Nate versus you. I'll let you kick it off. You got a 45-point projection here. Obviously, no quarterback, no defense, and you're ready to go. You got a full healthy squad.
Yeah. I'm a little lucky that he has a bad bye week. No Bijan, no Jonathan Taylor. Obviously
Yikes.
needs to place Carr. But yeah, I feel pretty confident this week. I say that now, I'll probably lose, but yeah, there's not really much to say about this. Stephon Diggs, I've been haunted by him for years now. So DeAndre Hopkins could always have that 40-point game like he did a few weeks ago. So if I can just get past those receivers and have them just have average days, I think I'll be fine.
Yeah, and I will say, well, Devontae Adams kind of cooked up against the Sauce and the boys with the Jets. So Days could definitely have a bounce back. I think they probably go to him a lot now with this new coordinator coming off that bad performance. I think he probably does have a nice day. But yeah, I'm going to go with you just because you got you're fully ready to go with your squad here. So I'm going to lean that. But yeah, I mean, quarterback wise, we don't have anyone on the roster, so we're going to the well of someone who's probably going to put up close to 15 points.
15 points for Lamar is a good week.
He's quarterback 8, so he does have that boom possibility. His average is 18, but yeah, I mean, of late he's definitely not put up the big monsters numbers you'd hope for. But yeah, I mean, coin flip with Hopkins, what you get. So Lockett's been fantastic actually. So that's it's pretty incredible. He kind of flies under the radar every year in fantasy and just kind of puts up a really consistent option for a flex.
11.4 in the flex is always nice. So
no kidding. But yeah, so I think this is obviously going to be a lot closer than this. Nate probably cracks 110, but you probably might slide into the 150. Gibbs against Chicago should be quite fun to watch. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, that's a pretty straightforward one, I think. So pretty fun matchup here. Bucher versus Rock Boys. I know people were dogging Nick a little bit for losing to the Dead Whale, but still a really good team. I mean,
he still put up 120 points.
And Josh, man, this is going to be a fun one. You get the CeeDee Lamb, Dak kind of cancel out here. So what Josh Allen do we get? That's a good question. I feel like what Derrick Henry do we get? What Tony Pollard do we get? So a lot of huge names here that could put up a lot of points. This could be a 160 to 170 game with the names on these sheets. But what will we get out of some of these guys? I feel like this is going to be a low week for a lot of these guys. I love Eckler against Green Bay, and I love Montgomery against Chicago. Revenge tour game for Montgomery. He's going to get fed early and often, I think. I don't think Detroit's going to pass the ball much in this game. They're just going to run it down their throat. Yeah, and Andrews against Cincy usually does pretty well. So, but just looking at this, I can't trust Henry and Pollard right now. So for the running back edge, I'm going to give it to Josh here for the
Yeah.
win. But I think this one's really close. I think this projection is probably pretty spot on with a 3-point spread. So I'm looking forward to keeping my eye on this one.
Yeah, looking at it, it's like it's truly a coin flip. DJ Moore, I hunted from him last year. I know he's done really well this year, but it's the name I just associate with bad feelings. So I'll probably lean Josh here, but
Yeah, it's hard to go against how CD Lamb's playing right now.
Yeah.
And I just look at those running back matchups, man. I mean, Henry versus Jacksonville usually does pretty well, honestly. And Pollard but Pollard should have been doing well against a lot of these teams, and he hasn't. So, and Walker against the Rams. Seattle usually sucks against the Rams. So I don't know how I feel about that projection either. But yeah, I'll take anyone playing against the Giants any day of the week.
Yeah.
And I love the running back. So yeah, Josh definitely gets the lean here. But yeah, it's going to be a good one, I think. But yeah, I mean, Bucher could very easily pull this one out and really shake up the standings. So someone that I don't think can shake up the standings, Tuncat, against the Milkman, coming off that tough loss. What does Ryan do with the defense? I think everything else is kind of set. Yeah, kind of story of the tape here is what it is. Tyreek Hill's back. That's kind of the end of the story for me. Stroud's playing Arizona. We'll see you next week. Ryan falls to 3-8. Milkman gets the win here. Yeah, I think Milkman definitely is a top 4 team. Not so. I think he's going to slide up this little bit here. But yeah, I know Ryan's been getting blown up about trades today. He's told me that they're quite terrible offers, so he's turned them all down. But yeah, it's this team, like I said, could put up 120, but
yeah, it can come out of nowhere. I mean, those are still all very talented players.
Absolutely. And I don't like Swift this week against Kansas City. That's a really good defensive front. And James Conner against Houston. That Houston D-line's sneaky good too. So we'll see. With Kyler back, it obviously opens up a lot for that offense. But yeah, I do hate Mike Evans against San Fran.
Anybody against San Fran just sucks.
Yeah, it seems like it's back to what they used to be, because there was that against they sucked against Minnesota. I mean, Ryan benefited. Addison absolutely dominated that game. But yeah, I like Ferguson. Really good red zone option for Dak. So yeah, just kind of seems like this is going to be Milkman's day.
Yeah, I mean, he's been putting up points every week, but he's lost 2 in a row. I mean, you kind of it's still consistent though, so you kind of just have to ride it.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, the only interesting thing that I'll say about Milkman here is looks like he's going to be back soon. I don't know if it's this week or next week. Do we ride Stroud? I think we probably do. But man, it's going to be tough when you're looking at Sam Howell, who's playing the Giants this week, for example, and then you have Fields coming back. Like, you're going to be thinking about this every week, I think, in our reality.
Yeah, who would have thought those 2 players would have been debatable to even be starting?
Yeah, 1 and 2 in yards, I believe, is Sam Howell and CJ Stroud in the NFL. Which I wouldn't have bet on that this year.
No, not at all.
But no, it's but yeah, Fields brings a really interesting wrinkle. Any quarterback needing team could really probably get him pretty cheap from Zach, honestly, at this point. But again, yeah, Milkman here takes this one down. Unfortunate for Ryan's sake. This is 2 bad years in a row now. Can't feel good about your fantasy standing when you're probably going to end up with the 2nd overall pick 2 years in a row.
Yeah, can't relate, but yeah.
Oh boy. Oh man. Yeah, you and Purcell, models of consistency in this league somehow.
Yeah, who would have thought?
2 peas in a pod, 2 best buds.
Very true.
All right, what are your thoughts here on Risky versus People's Champion? I know both these teams are trying to make some moves. Reminders on bye. What are we thinking here as far as who we put in? How we feel?
Oh boy.
Can they
I
both
mean,
lose?
Ramondre definitely hurts because he's been picking it up a little bit.
Trending the very right direction.
Yeah. Saquon, he's been so spotty this year. I think I have to lean Purcell, honestly. Just when you have Cup, Keenan Allen's been a monster this year. I'm actually shocked because what is he, like 35 at this point?
He's quite old.
Yeah, and he's just still so good.
Those hamstrings are about to bust wide open, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if he's not playing by the end of the year, but
This is the
yeah,
first year in a long time I can remember he hasn't been injured yet.
yeah, no. I mean, Puka in the flex is obviously a great. You kind of just have to lean Purcell.
Yeah, I think it's very formidable with if he's putting up the starting line. Obviously, new kicker gets in here. The kicker guru here, Purcell, will find another one. But yeah, this team's up and down. Njoku's come on quite nicely with Watson back in there. Had a nice game against the Ravens. He always seems to. But yeah, no, it gets Hurts back. Yeah, just really strong team here. You look at the average, obviously the power rankings of them and their positions. Obviously, Cooper Cup's going to be way higher if he plays the first 4 or 5 games. But yeah, so and Mixon's been trending really well as well. So Ravens usually hold him down, I will say, but might not need it. But yeah, Barkley against Washington. If Tyrod plays, I think he has a nice day. If he doesn't, I think that front's going to really get after him. I know they traded away all their really talented front players, but they still got Jonathan Allen and who's the other guy they paid? Can't remember. But they have a good front still. So
yeah, they always seem to be semi-solid.
Well, they only draft first round defensive tackles, so that's
fair.
But no, just kind of looking at it, more. Tampa's defense sneaky good, so we'll see how Ayuk does. I think that San Fran offense when Debo's on the field really opens up for Ayuk. So I think he had a really nice week. Golf against Chicago. We'll see if they can keep it. If Chicago can keep it close. Not golf's not going to have a great day, but Mahomes is going to go in.
Yeah, just looking. I just opened the bench. I was like, yeah, Mahomes and Goddard
and Mostert. Well, yeah. I don't know if Goddard's going to play this week, but so you don't love Michael Mayer there, but yeah, you probably flipped. He might leave Bucks defense in there too. Christian Watson's out. Yeah, so this gets to be a much closer matchup than initially thought. Not having Ramondre really hurts though, because how do we feel about Mostert going forward? What do we think his role is going to be?
It's really hard to say. I mean, I think they're going to ease a chain back in. But he was just so electric when he was playing. You have to think like he takes over that lead back role at some point.
He's way too fast to not. Yeah. It's kind of like Keaton Mitchell with the Ravens. It's like this guy's way too explosive, and like Gibbs in Detroit. It's just this guy's way just too good. But
yeah. So, I mean, he definitely he's trending downwards, but he's still a must start. Honestly, he's running
absolutely.
He just finds the end zone every game. It feels like.
Other than Mr. Sober Max Crosby, that Raiders defense really doesn't like to tackle too much. So I think Mostert still has a good week this week, but I would agree with your assessment that as Achane kind of gets back here and healthy, we see Mostert's touches go from 15 to probably 10, something like that. Yeah. And you got Jeff Wilson there too. Jeff Wilson's gonna steal 10 too. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But this week, I think you're going to get a good output from Mostert. Really stinks with Goddard there because I don't feel good about Mayer. Oh, my tight end position. Mahomes against Philly, that's tough. I don't necessarily love that Mahomes doesn't generally, most quarterbacks don't, but doesn't do well against fronts that get to him quickly. So we'll see. And frankly, that offense has kind of sucked this year. So
yeah, it's odd. I mean, they're still 7-2, but
yeah, they're still the best record in the AFC.
But you're used to.
Not really doing it because of Mahomes. They're doing it because of the defense.
Yeah,
and the running game. Pacheco's kind of exploded a little bit here. But yeah, I don't know if I like any players in that game for the Eagles or the Chiefs, just because those defenses are both playing at a very high level and get after the quarterback a bit. So, but I will say to kind of give my prediction on this game, I've been kind of dancing around. I will lean Purcell. just because of the Rams factor with Stafford back. I think both those guys really ascend to being both wide receiver ones. And Keenan Allen is quite unstoppable right now. And I think Green Bay is a very good matchup for him to have a good day. So I'll
Yeah,
lean that. But this is another one that I think is going to be within a couple points and could be watching a Sunday night, Monday night game if any of these guys. Oh, the Eagles are Monday night. So yeah. And you got the two quarterbacks going at each other. So this could be quite a fun game to keep an eye on Monday night. But I'll lean Purcell as well. But yeah, this should be a really good one.
Yeah.
And then we have Tyler, another team trending in the wrong direction against I'm on a level here. And Tyler did set a lineup here. Damian Pierce, I guess, is expected to play. Needs a kicker, but look out. I think JJ's back, and I think George gets a win. Javonte Williams getting the ball a ton. Najee is a touchdown machine, and Burrow, we'll see how he does against the Ravens, but he's been playing at a very high level, so I expect him to have a nice day.
Yeah, I agree. I think George gets a second win here. That team's been scoring pretty consistently, honestly. He's just been going up against teams that have outscored him even more. So yeah, I think Georgia's team is actually really good.
He was one of my top 3 teams coming into the year. I thought this roster was fantastic, but it just
I still think it is. I think it obviously not having Jefferson for most of the year has really sucked. I think he'd probably win some of those games with him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Javonte's finally getting started again. He's just been electric. He's like Russ's favorite target, really.
And he runs the shit out of the ball too.
Yeah.
He's great. It's good to see him back healthy because I know he showed spurts of this last year, but he's really come on strong.
Yeah.
I will say for Tyler's sake, Tua back against LA or Vegas, I'm sorry, should be pretty good. I would say. See how that line holds up against Crosby and those guys up front. ETN against Tennessee should eat. A lot of reliance here on the Houston team, which isn't the worst thing right now. That offense is really moving and grooving. Can Noah Brown do it 3 weeks in a row? I think. What's his name?
I think Nico Collins is coming back.
Nico Collins is going to be back, so that's going to take away from Brown a little bit. Maybe he doesn't get 170 yards a game. Schultz should have a nice day again against a really pitiful defense. I hate DK Metcalf this week. I pretty much hate him every week.
Yeah, me too. Going into the draft, I hated that.
He was on my do not draft list.
Yeah, I hated it.
I mean, look at this guy, man. I mean, this is supposed to be like a top upper echelon guy, and he's wide receiver 37.
Yeah, I have no idea what's happened to him. He can be electric, but yeah.
Sure, I mean, but look at his targets, man. Whew. Yeah, 14 targets and 5 catches. That's awful. We'll throw the Baltimore game out because that game was just a one-way ticket to shit stain. But
yeah,
I mean, you're basically getting 10 out of them every week. But this is a guy that physically should be getting that top tier, maybe not Cooper Kupp level, but like Puka Nacua level of output. But yeah. Historically, Geno plays bad against the Rams. They generally play bad against the Rams. So I think he's down. And Jamar, we'll see if he busts one. Ravens generally have kept him at bay. He's had a few huge games against them, but we'll see. Especially if T doesn't play. If there's no Higgins, then obviously this completely ruins Chase. But yeah, I don't really like a lot of Tyler's matchups here, and I like the way that George is kind of trending. So, I hope George gets his second and final win because I know I play him again, so I don't want him to get any more. But no. So all right, just a synopsis here. We got.
I think we agreed on every team.
I think we did. Last time that happened, Mike and I went 6-0. So, both picked me. Both picked you. Both picked Josh.
Yes.
Both picked Milkman. Both picked Purcell, and both picked George. I'll be edgy. I'll take Mike just to make it fun. I'll take Mike. I gotta make up ground. So
yeah, there's a few toss-ups really.
Yeah, who is the other toss up? Bucher and I can't go against Josh right now. He's playing too good. So I'll change over to Mike. So we have that. But yeah, quick and easy pod here. No intro, all business today.
This
No
is
silly intro songs.
bedtime.
Bedtime. Yeah,
Yeah.
long day. Thank you for doing this. I'm sure everyone, i.e. Purcell, is going to be happy this comes out on a Tuesday or Wednesday morning. Yeah, but other than that, happy trading if anyone gets anything done. That would be cool. But I doubt it because nobody likes to trade any of their players. So
No,
any
I'm
closing
more than willing to
remarks?
get up Lamar if anybody wants him.
Any closing remarks for this week?
No, it's just very lucky to have a win here and be what 6-4 now. See if we can go back to back.
There you go. I will say shout out to me and Wazinski for taking down the Beer Olympics at Mike's house. Mike did go to bed at 7:45
Can
that night. So nice way to turn 35 is by going to bed at 7:45. So maybe that could be you one day, Ed.
don't worry. Went to bed before everyone went out on the wedding, so did not make it out.
Well, happens to the best of us. But all right, man. Well, take it easy.
All right, pleasure.